Hey everybody, welcome to Schimmel Woodworks. I'm Chad, and today I wanted to talk about casting, and in particular tube-on embedded casting, because this is what I do a lot. Although I do a lot with Alumilite and other materials, vacuums and different things, stabilizing, what I do probably more than anything is tube-on casting. And that can be anything from watch parts to different papers, different things like stamps, and just all kinds of different things. But the key is the resin you use and how you use it. So for this type of casting, you can use things like Alumilite Clear. However, I don't personally use it because I don't think it gets the same clarity and crystal clearness that some other things do. Now, one resin that you can use, this is a polyester resin. It's by Casting Craft, and you can pick this up at like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, craft stores, different places like that. I don't necessarily recommend it. I don't not recommend it, but a lot of times these sit on the shelf for a long time, so you don't know if it's a fresh batch, and the freshness definitely will affect the performance. So if you do get it, give it a shake. Make sure it's not hard, but you are kind of taking a gamble in that respect. Most of the time, this is what I use. It's Silmar 41, and I get it from Wood and Whimsies, and I'll put the link down below. I'm not affiliated with them, but I like to buy it by the gallon, and it gives me the results I'm after pretty consistently. It seems like it's always fresh because I think they sell enough of it that it rotates through, and that's a good thing for us as casters. So once you're ready to cast, there's just a couple of things you're going to need beyond the resin and the accelerator, and that's a good scale. And the reason you need a good scale is because this stuff is measured in ounces. I measure it in ounces and I add per ounce. So for example, when I'm using Silmar 41, most of the time I add 4 drops per ounce of resin. Now that can vary slightly depending on temperature and humidity, but that's my ballpark that I start with. Secondly, you're going to need a cup. And as simple as this is, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. I typically use these smaller clear cups because I'm usually mixing 6 ounces or less at a time. I did try these because they were a great price. However, they melt through really quickly, whereas these hold up. These, if you put your catalyst in and mix it, within just a few seconds they're starting to get warm and melt through, so I don't use these anymore. In the past, I used to use the little paper cups if I was just mixing a half an ounce or an ounce for some reason, but I tend to stay away from paper now as well. A lot of them have a wax coating, which you can get them without, but the wax will definitely ruin your resin. But they just don't seem to hold up as well. So my choice is the harder clear plastic cups. Just like other resins, when you're casting with this stuff, the polyester, you want to stir it good. I typically use these that I get in bulk at the craft store. If I'm mixing a larger batch, like 5, 6, even 8 ounces, I'll use the bigger ones, and that's because I want to really scrape it and get a good mixture throughout. Now keep in mind, when you're stirring, you're aerating the resin and creating bubbles, and that's a problem. So you need to know that if you're just pouring these in a mold without pressure, or if you're using pressure. Now, just because you're creating bubbles doesn't mean you have to have a pressure tank. A lot of times I won't use it just because if you warm your molds and your tube and you warm your resin, you can vibrate out almost all the bubbles every time. So this video, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the few things that I use. You can create a lot of really great stuff with just a few things here. A scale, the resin, some blank tubes, and some sky's the limit as far as what to go on the tubes. But be creative. You're going to have to experiment. If you look at some of my older videos, I did experiments on how different resins reacted to different papers and glues and things. And you may need to do that to figure out what's going to work for what you're wanting to use. So don't be afraid to just try stuff. It's going to fail. Remember, being an expert is failing enough times to know what works. And that's what I've done. I've done a lot of failing over the years to get to the point where I'm pretty good with different materials now. So give it a try. If you guys have any questions or comments, put them below. This was meant to be a beginner, just showing the basics of what I use for tube-on. And if there's interest on actually seeing how I do the paper and the stamps or whatever, I'll go ahead and do videos down the road on those, but just kind of tell me what you're interested in seeing. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and give the video a thumbs up. See you next time.